Hi, this is Dahu with DJ Lab, and today I want to try using time stretching as a creative tool. I got the idea to work creatively with different modes of time stretching kind of through the history of the TB-303. Way back in the day when it was released, it was actually meant to kind of replace real bass players, but the sound was so bad that no one wanted to use it. But some musicians worked very creatively with it and found new ways of using it, and that's kind of how the entire genre of acid was born. So by using something in a whole different way than it was intended, these people created a whole genre of music. And I'm always kind of looking for different things in music that you can use in out-of-the-box ways. And this was kind of my attempt to do that with time stretching algorithms. So let's take a look at the track first of all. This channel is the one I get asked about a lot, and it was made using the manipulation of time stretching algorithms. First things first, we drop a new audio channel. And this is based on a hi-hat sample. I do not have the original sample anymore, but that gives us the opportunity to create something completely new from a different one. So I'm just going to drop a hi-hat sample in here. Okay, this sounds very usable actually. Okay, first thing we have to do is isolate a single hit. Let's go in here. And I want triplet. We're going to do this by utilizing the way the different time stretching algorithms, or warping algorithms as they're usually called, in Ableton work. So if you open this drop-down menu here, we have beats, tones, texture, repitch, complex, and complex pro. So complex pro is the most widely used because it's the most usable or realistic interpretation that keeps the pitch constant even over different tempos. But we want to look at beats today. And beats is kind of like the caveman algorithm because it doesn't use any advanced methods of stretching time. If we go into the sample and we stretch, okay, we want to keep the one here and we want to stretch this. So what would usually happen, let's listen to it first in Complex Pro. So as you can hear, it's trying to stretch the sample kind of naturally over the entire time. But it also makes the quality kind of bad. Now if we switch to beats, so the beats algorithm, instead of pulling the sample apart and kind of approximating what it would sound like if you pull it apart, it literally just takes the original sample and copy-pastes it as long as it has to fill the entire time where sound is playing. So that results in this very choppy kind of effect. Now, the higher we put the pitch, the faster the chopping will be because the shorter the original sample will become. And the other way around also works like that. The lower we put the pitch, the choppiness will get slower because there's more sample to fill the same amount of time. So it has to be copy-pasted less times. And we see here that the beats algorithm is diminutively copy-pasting this first signal and adding it on top until the next hit comes in here. And as we pitch down, these repetitions get less and less. So back here we have like 9 peaks or something like that until the next hit comes. Here we only have 3 peaks after the initial peak. And so what we're essentially doing is we're combining a pitching effect and a beat repeat effect, but we're using time stretching to do it, which gives the whole thing another unique twist in sound. And that's what we're actually going for, right? We're trying to make music with unconventional methods to gain unconventional results that people haven't heard before. We can now use this as a musical or rhythmic element by playing with different parameters, like the pitch, for example. I'm just going to try it out a little bit. Okay, let's just pull this a little bit longer. This is giving us a very, well, maybe not very musical, but definitely very interesting results that we can definitely use as a basis to create something. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to resample this track. For that, we create another one. And let's turn off the solo. And we are going to use the audio in from this channel right here. So this is now going into this. Set it to in, arm it. And now we are just going to play it from here and just play a little bit with the settings. Actually, I'm also going to change the transient playback mode to full forward because in my experience, it has a little bit better results. Okay, one thing I'm noticing right now is that the effect is too extreme for me. I want a little bit more rhythmic quality, so I want the note to, or the effect to kind of end before the next hit comes in. So I'm going to reduce the transients by a little bit, not by much, because I still want it to be like a carpet of percussion. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Okay, everything's armed and ready, so I'll just hit record and play around with it. Usually it's probably a good idea when you're jamming to jam to the actual track, because while we're working on the sound design for this element, and it's also important to listen to it solo sometimes, our goal is still to create a final product, and this sound has to shine within the track. So let's play it back again and jam a little bit to the whole track. Okay, we've recorded a couple of bars of material now here, and now I'm basically just going to go through it and find the sweet spots. All right, I think I found a part I'm reasonably happy with. Let's check it out. Set it to loop and see how it works with the track. I'm just going to pull it to an area on the track where we don't have that many distractions, just to see how it works with purely the groove. Okay, I think this is the loop for me here. Maybe we could open it up a little bit so the pitch shift is more extreme. All right, now we've got our basic loop that we built with the Timestretching algorithm, and now we have to do some final polishing just to really blend it into the track. So what I like to do is to kind of pitch it to the track, I've already got it searched for here, to drop in a corpus, as I like to do, and maybe turn this very metallic, very aggressive in a way effect a little more organic by simulating some real-life percussion. Okay, I think marimba is a pretty good way to start out here. It's still pretty aggressive, so let's turn down the dry-wet a little bit to just get that hint of a more organic percussive instrument. And we can also tune it to our track. I think the root note is a B here, so let's try this first. That's perhaps a pretty low B. I'm going to try B2. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We're just going to use a tiny little amount just to give it that hint of instrument played by a human hand. And just to take out a bit of the harshness of it, just going to drop a reverb on it too, but also with kind of a low dry-wet setting. Go quality to high and cut all this. Okay, let's check it out. Corpus is a great way to add some tonal texture, especially to percussive channels, to make it blend in more with your track. But it can also be used to make super heavy bass lines. I also did another video about that. You can check it out, creating rhythmically complex bass lines with Ableton Corpus. Now we're going to try to combine the heavily edited signal we have with the original hi-hat that we built it from. This way we have one very raw, very unedited signal, and one heavily edited one that we actually fit to the track perfectly. And by combining these two, we just get strong rhythmic structures and a strong variety in the way the sound is designed. So I'm just going to take this hi-hat that we basically started out with and check how it sounds together with our edited one. Today, we use Timestretching as a creative tool. We started with a basic hi-hat that you could hear in any track, and we transformed it into a texturally rich, colorful sound that really carries our track, both rhythmically and also in terms of tonal quality. This has been Dahu with DJ Lab, and please do try this at home.